Hey, this is Jason from Baguette Bound. In this video, we're going to be going line by line, step by step, drop down by drop down through the French visa application. We're going to go through each line, look at what you should fill out, what you should be leaving blank, some easy mistakes to make. We'll submit it electronically and look at what to review after you're done. The French visa application is completed digitally, online, through the France Visa web portal. The website up here in the top, you're going to look at france-visas.gouv.fr. It's the official site for Visas of France, just like the site says. The .gouv.fr at the top just signifies that it's an official government site, similar to the .gov sites you might see in the United States. So this is the official site for all visa applications that are coming into France. Start simply at the beginning, applying for a visa. And it prompts you to make sure you have a few documents ready that you're going to need to fill out the application. Your passport, you will need that. Originals and photocopies of various supporting documents according to your situation. So you are going to need some documentation. You can use them digitally right now to fill out the application. You could have them printed out in front of you. Just whatever's most convenient for you to come back and use those forms to fill these things out. You're going to need your address in France. You'll need to know the types of financial support you'll be using, as well as birthdays, your address in the United States for a mailing address for yourself and for all the people that will be coming with you on your visa application. It mentions at the bottom you need 2 photos. You don't need that to do the application online. You will only need those when you go in person. So you can worry about those later. So you don't need to be prepared with photos to fill this out. If you have not been in yet, clicking on this button will prompt you to create an account. Just use an email address and a password of your choosing. You can select the language at that point. So if you want to choose English, it's a good time to do so. You can always filter through the languages and flip back and forth through languages once you're inside the application. So applying for visa will load this next screen, your applications. On this screen, you can see I've already done 2 in here. If this is the first time you've been in, this area will be blank. Your first action is to create a new application in a new group of applications. So this blue button up here, that's going to be where your actions are done. You can navigate the languages up here. If it comes up in French or a different language, you can always flip it around and change languages. But we're going to jump right in, start the application. Okay, at the top it shows you we've got 6 steps, and we're on step 1, your plan. First, you're going to start with your nationality. So choose your nationality. There's a drop down. Your place of submission is going to be the country that you are submitting at. So you're not restricted to the country of your nationality. You will, if you're applying somewhere outside of where you are a national, you will need to be a resident there. And we'll come back to that proof that you'll have to show later. So you can choose another location. It asks you for the visa type. So we're really going to focus on the long stay visa. If you're American, if you're a US passport holder, you don't need a short stay visa. You'll always be just requesting a long stay visa through this portal. Your main destination of stay. So France is mainland France. Go look at it on a map. If you're going to one of these other locations that are part of the French Republic, you can select one of these. So be sure if you're going to one of these offshore locations, you choose the right one. And this is for your principal stay. So vacationing or traveling to Guadeloupe or Martinique while you are here, perfectly fine. But if that's going to be your main location, you'll need to choose where that's going to be. The next option is your city of submission. So when you choose the country location for your application, it will pre-populate all the cities and localities that you can go apply at. And this application will be done in person. There's going to be another video that we're producing on doing the application submission process, so going to the appointment for your application. Separate company, separate process for that. They'll be in a second video that's coming up at the end of this one. So stay tuned if you need that one as well. So you do need to choose your city. When you choose your city, that kind of locks you into going to that place in person. So if we choose Chicago, we're committing to going to an appointment in Chicago. If you complete this application, you need to change your location later if it ends up being that you needed to go to Houston instead of Chicago, because that's the place that you could get into. You'll need to come back, do a separate application, select Houston. Right? So this is very important to make sure the city aligns with the place that you are actually going to go to your appointment to turn in all the information. So choose your city. Figure that out before you get started, which city you want to start, which city you want to go to. If you don't know what city you want to go to, you probably want to pause, decide on a location that you want to attend in-person appointment, and then move forward. So we're going to go with Chicago. Travel document, this is your passport, right? So your ordinary passport for most Americans. If you've got a diplomatic, service, or official passport, you probably know about these. You're doing something on behalf of the government. If you don't have one of those or you're not sure, you probably have an ordinary passport. Passport number, issue date, expiry date for your passport. Make sure the expiry date extends beyond the first year of your visa. So you're going to propose a start date to your visa. Your passport needs to extend 15, 16 months beyond that start date. Plans. So this is asking, let me move myself out of the way. Your plans are the type of visa that you're looking for. So you've kind of got all the available visas that you can choose from. And within each of these, you're going to get more options over here on main purpose. So if you don't see your specific visa, you have to choose the broader category first and then choose the specific visa over here. For people coming from the United States, the visas usually fall into just a few categories. Business visas. So you've got an entrepreneur, job search, business creation, the liberal independent professions, the profession liberale visa. Those are very common, but that's where you'd find these. Other options would be the au pair visa, so other au pair. Student visas under study and either minor or adult student. Visitor visa. Visitor, outside of student visas, visitors are probably the most common. That's certainly the majority of clients that we see through our consults and through our visa service are coming over on the visitor visa. So visitor visa, and it will give you a couple options: pension, visitor, adult, and visitor minor. Entitled to a pension is if you have a French pension. If you do not have a French pension, do not select this one. Your American pension doesn't count here. You can use that, but this is the wrong visa unless you have a French pension. Adults, 18 and over. Minors, under 18. So choose that. As you move on, it does remind you that you will need a visa for this type of stay. And it asks you to verify your passport number. So just confirm that the passport number is correct, then move forward. Phase 2, step 2 of 6, it's asking for your personal information. So you'll fill in your sex, your marital status. You've got divorced, married, other, separated, single, and widowed. Last name, so your current last name. The next box over is your last name at birth or any previous last names. So if you have changed names, if you've ever had a previous last name, type them in here. Just fill them in one after the other. Obligatory first names. So you want to match your passport. Your passport likely has your first and middle name or your first and middle initial on it. So check against your passport and enter your first names here. Birthday. The day, month are in reverse order, so be careful. Day is first, month is second, then the year. Place of birth can be your state. Again, you kind of want to match what's on your passport. It likely has the state of your birth. Country of your birth. National identity number is your social security number. And then the last in this box section is nationality at birth, if you were born in a different place other than your current nationality. Your current address, within the country that you are applying in. So you need to be a resident there. You need to have an actual address, likely in the United States if you're applying in the United States. So you fill in that information here. Give a phone number. It can be, if you have a US number, that's perfectly fine. Your personal email address. A few additional questions. It asks if if you are currently living in a country other than the country of your current nationality. If you choose yes, it's going to ask for your residence permit. So what documentation do you have that you are a resident of this country? That is a requirement to be able to apply in a country other than your current nationality. So if you are an American citizen, you're applying in another country, that can be fine, but you've got to be a resident there. If you're not a resident and you feel like you really need to apply in this other country outside of the country of your residency and the country of your nationality, you need to contact the French embassy in that country first and try to get authorization and explain to them what your situation is that won't allow you to return to one of those countries. If you're joining or traveling with a French family member, we'll have you fill in their information. And if you have family members who currently live in France, again, their information. Current job. This can be a tricky one. You've got lots of options. No matter what type of visa you come on, you've got to fill in the current job category. So if you're coming over, even if you're coming over as a visitor, if you're currently working, maybe you're on a sabbatical or a long break, that can be fine. You can just fill in the job information. You'll want to have some type of proof or letter or some type of documentation showing that where you work, included in your support packet that you turn in. Other more common options would be no profession. No profession, perfectly fine. Retired seems like the most obvious one for a lot of people on the visitor visa. Retired can often prompt the people reviewing your file to check for official retirement documentation, right? Something official that shows you are retired. A lot of Americans don't have any documentation that proves that they're retired. So that one can be hard to prove. If you don't have that, that's probably not your best option. Unemployed, again, a similar one. If you choose unemployed, they may ask for evidence or proof that you are unemployed. If you don't have that, the default, kind of the go-to, is no profession. If you're not working, you can choose no profession. You don't need to prove that. That's just accepted as is. So that is often the easiest one to choose if you are in a position that you're coming here and you're not working. Just go with no profession. Okay, step 3 of 6, your last visa. So it's asking you if you have ever previously resided for more than 3 months in a row in France. No, just move on. If yes, it's going to prompt you for the information on this. Start date, end date, why were you here, and your address while you were here. Step 4, details about your current trip to France, so your upcoming visa trip. Wants the details of your stay, so planned date of arrival in French territory. This will be the proposed start date of your visa. Now, one of the key mistakes, common mistakes maybe that people make when they're filling out this form, is choosing the months of stay. So we've selected a long-term visa. It has to be more than 3 months. So it gives us 3 options: 3 to 6 months, 6 months and a year, or more than a year. If you are wanting a long-term visa that is renewable in France, that you can continue to renew year over year within France without having to go back to the United States, choose more than 1 year. That is the key one. If you want a visa that will not make you a resident and you will not be able to renew it here, and you'll have to return back to your home country at the expiry of the visa. And if in that case, if you want a new visa, you'd have to apply back in your home country. If that's the kind of visa that you want, one that is not renewable, choose one of the other options, just based on the term of time, the amount of time that you want to be here. So choosing 6 months to 1 year will get you a visa that is not renewable. That may be exactly what you want. There are some benefits to that. You don't have to pay the additional fee to validate it. You don't have to go to a medical appointment. That may be what you want, but just be aware that that means it's not renewable. So we're going to go with more than a year. And then it's asking you for family members. So if you have any additional family members that are coming with you on this visa trip and are also applying for a visa, you're going to choose yes. You have a chance to add who those people are. Choose their family relationship down here, right? You've got last name, first name, birthday, their nationality, family relationship. There are a few listed that are obvious: spouse, a child, a grandchild, dependent relatives. One that's missing is parent. So if you are a parent of the applicant, you're filling out a child's application and you are the parent, choose other and then just type it in below. Status is a potentially confusing one. Most Americans are going to leave this blank, right? If you are a refugee, if you have a stateless person, you don't have like a home country, if that is your situation, you choose one of these. But for most Americans, you're going to leave this status area blank. Okay, moving on. Step 5 of 6, we are almost done. It's asking you for the address. So where are you going to be staying in France? Now remember, at least from the United States at this point in time, and we're recording this video in spring of 2026. So obviously if anything looks different and this website has changed, if you're watching this video in the future, we'll be updating this video as the time comes, but do be aware that this site can change at times. At this moment, if applying for the United States, you need to show at least 3 months or more of housing. And you'll need to provide an address. Got a few options that it gives you as to indicate where you will be staying. One situation is that a person will be accommodating you. So you're staying with someone. You're not paying rent. You're living with someone. In this case, you're going to give the name, first name, last name of the person who is accommodating you, the address of the place you'll be staying, their phone number, their email address. In this case, you'll also be providing documentation, supporting documents showing that they have given you kind of signed authority to stay at their place. You'll need to document that. So that's for a host. A company or organization. Again, if you've got something work-related or some type of company is doing the hosting, you'll click that one and fill in, again, all their personal information, address, phone number, email address, a contact person at the organization. Probably the most common one is a hotel or a place of accommodation. So if you're renting a place, if you own a place, you're going to use this one. So fill in the name, the company or the name of the hotel that you're staying at, the address, contact information, either the general contact information for the hotel or contact information for the rental agency. If this is a place you own, then it can only be your contact information. You are the only contact for that. And again, all of these you're going to be providing the documentation afterwards when you go to the supporting, when you go to the appointment to turn in all of your supporting documents. You'll have support for whatever this rental is, whether it's an Airbnb or a hotel or a long-term rental. The last category, the last question that you've got to figure out and you've got to answer is funding. How are you going to fund your travel costs? If you're funding this for yourself, you just check the things that you have paid for. Either that's all of your accommodations are prepaid. Remember, you're not going to be paying anything. Transport costs are fully covered already. Maybe you're still using traveler's checks. Other is a very common one. Think about the type of support that you're going to be providing in your supporting documentation when you go in. So if you've got bank accounts, Social Security, a pension, savings accounts, you can fill in some of those details here. These can be kind of high level because the supporting specific details will be in your packet of information. You don't need to list the account numbers or the bank names or anything like that. If you have a guarantor, so if someone else has said that they are going to guarantee and support you while you're here, you'll need to give their name and again, exactly how they are covering you. This will need to match up with some type of supporting documentation that you provide as well. Some written authorized statement from the person along with their bank statements or their financial information showing that they can afford, they have the resources and able to guarantee your funds while you're here. And then we're moving on. The last step, step 6 of 6, is just a reminder for the types of supporting documentation that you're going to need to bring with you when you go in person. So you filled out all the forms on the application, and it's reminding you when you go to your appointment, here is the list of things you're going to want to bring. There's nothing to fill out here. This is just informational for you. So now we have got a completed application. Here is the one we just filled out, and we've got a few options here. Now that we filled it out, we've got our application number, the name that we filled in, so you'll want to verify that everything looks correct here. You can download a PDF version. I find this much easier to review the PDF version of the application than to go back through and review it and verify it line by line digitally. So you'll come back, check last names, former last names, first names, everything that you filled in. If you see anything wrong, we'll come back and edit it. One item of note that comes up blank and can be confusing is question 24 or item 24, the name, address, email, of telephone number in France of the inviting employer, host institution. So if you're providing your own address, your own hotel, your own apartment, if you filled in that information, it will show up here. Your address in France during your stay will show up down here. This will only be if you choose the host or an institution is hosting you. That will fill in up here. So it's perfectly normal for this to be blank if you're coming with a hotel or a rental, which will be shown down here in number 25. Check all those, and if we see anything wrong, we can come back to our application and edit it. The little pencil pen here, we can open our application up and edit everything. If we have another person that we're traveling with, so you have a second person coming in your group, spouse, child, family member, you can choose add an application, and it will add an application to the group. Another way to do it is to copy the application. So doing this will give you the option to copy over some of the information that you entered in the first application into the second one so that you don't have to retype all those things. So likely you're staying at the same accommodation, you've got the same funding sources, maybe you're this particular trip and your last visa information is the same. You'll just choose the ones that make sense for you. Obviously identity, those things might be different, but you can kind of give you a head start on having information filled in. And it preloads up to the new application that's ready for you to fill in that second person in your group. So we'll go back and we see this first one, the second one that we started and we stopped. We realized this is a mistake and I need to get rid of that one. Just delete it and it's gone. Next step, we've got everything, we've confirmed it, we've verified it, we've opened it up and reviewed all the documentation, we're happy with it. We're going to go to continue. And first we have to declare that all the information provided is correct and check that box, hit continue. It provides you with a reminder, again, your application number, your first and last name, your birthday, and that you are going to owe an additional fee. So this fee is part of the visa application that you must pay when you go in person. When you go to your in-person appointment, you can pay via debit or credit card, and you'll worry about that later. It's just making you aware of this additional charge that's coming. Last but not least, we're getting close. It's reminding you that you must make a visa appointment. You can click information here to find out about making an appointment. So there's more information on where you're coming from. You can choose your country of application, and it kind of gives you all the options, where you go, how you make this appointment. You may be coming through the TLS Center, which is a third-party company in the United States. Many other countries, you have to go to the French embassy Other countries even still use a separate third-party company called VFS as a third-party company that hosts all these appointments. So you can look at your country, get information there. The next step to complete the submission of this application is you have to check this box to certify that you've made contact with your visa center or the place that you're going to go to for an appointment. It asks you to verify that an appointment date has been assigned. You don't have to do that at this point. You can submit it before you make the appointment. There's nothing stopping you. There's no check that's done. That's perfectly fine. So you do have to submit this. At this point, you can back to my applications, and just let it sit here, right? It's just sitting here. It's waiting to be completed. You've got an application number. You can go forward with making an appointment. And again, stay tuned to the end of this video. We'll cover how to do the appointments. Once you have your appointment, or even before, like I said, you continue. Check that you've made contact. It reminds you that you're going to have to present yourself with all of your supporting documents, including this visa application. And then you're going to submit it. And it's done. Your request is now closed. Access to the application form, you can print it, you can download it, and you're going to receive an email confirming that you have submitted this. So this is final. If you have not received an email shortly after finishing this saying that the French visa office has received your application, know that you didn't complete it. You need to get to this point. It's reminding you that your visa application is here. And here's the final version. See how it no longer says draft on it. It's finalized and submitted. It reminds you that you're going to have to pay a visa application fee and a service charge, perhaps depending on where you go, and that biometric data will be collected if you haven't already submitted biometric data for a prior visa. And because we chose Chicago, it has already assigned us to go to the TLS Contact Center in Chicago. We've not yet made that appointment, but we will. And I'll say complete, and it's done. So you can always come back and hit the magnifying glass to download and open up a new version of this application. So that's the application. It doesn't take too long. At any point when you're filling this form out, you can kind of hit save and come back later to finish it. It will save out there. You can do part of it. If you haven't finalized an exact date that you're going to arrive, if you don't quite know which Airbnb you're going to choose and haven't chosen an address, you can fill in part of the application form, save it, back out, come back later and complete it. We do a lot of these. I'm on the site pretty frequently as part of our visa service, and I would say it's pretty stable. It works pretty well. There are not a lot of problems. So I hope this video is helpful. And again, if you want more visa specific information about the visa process, stay tuned to the end of this video, and there's going to be a playlist that comes up that has all the videos we've made on the visa application, from going to the appointment, types of documents you have, just how to renew it, how to validate it once you're here. There's just a wealth of information out there for you that we've put out. And after you've seen all the videos, if you feel stuck, unsure, or just want a little help making sure all the I's were dotted and T's were crossed, you can reach out to us for more specific help. We offer a consult service, 50 minutes. We can work with you on any part of this process, make sure everything looks correct and is ready to go. We also offer a more detailed long-stay visitor visa plus healthcare service, where we take care of all the paperwork, all the application. We do all the work for you to get everything settled, submitted, and applied for. So you can take a look at our website, baguettebound.com, for more details on those options. Otherwise, enjoy the videos, and we'll see you soon. A biento.